Yes, we are live now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 39th episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. April is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, but we have been working throughout the year towards achieving acceptance of autism as a normal human variation. So the month of April is no exception for us. And I'm delighted to welcome our guest for today's program, Ms. Rakshita Shekhar, an inclusive education consultant based in Bangalore, India. Hi, Rakshita. Welcome to Let's Talk Inclusion. How are you? Rakshita, I can't hear you. I think there's a problem in your microphone. Actually, the power went off at Rakshita's end a couple of minutes ago, and that is why she's joined late. So there might be a connectivity issue. Please bear with us. No, I can't hear Rakshita. Till the time Rakshita gets everything sorted, let me just tell you something about Rakshita. She's an educator and consultant for disability rights organizations and schools. She has a master's degree in intellectual and developmental disabilities from the University of Kent, UK. And she has extensive experience as a teacher in both general education and special education. She's a member of two international advocacy organizations, neuroclastic.com and Universal Design for Learning Special Interest Group. She has also presented at multiple conferences, both national and international. She is very passionate about pedagogy, autism, and inclusion. Being autistic herself, she ardently advocates for autistic children and adults through her poetry, essays, talks, and training programs. She's the first openly autistic person in South Asia to be nominated as a board member of Action for Autism and Autism Charity. She hopes to teach the society that they can and must rely on disabled people to solve the world's biggest problem. Thank you very much, Rakshita, for taking out some time for us today. Yes, Rakshita.
Hi.
Uh, hi. Now it's thank God that your microphone issue is sorted. Rakshita, as when you were sorting out all these issues at your end, I was giving a brief introduction of yours, and I'm sure the people who are watching us today, they're feeling that you are inspirational for many, in many ways. What would you like to say to them?
Hmm. First is that I don't want to be called inspirational. I don't believe I don't like this concept of disabled people being an inspiration for
True.
something
Any?
because it uh, reinforces the idea that we are somehow supposed to, or disabled people have overcome their challenges on their own, and that's why they are inspirational. So I mean, that's the message that's coming out, and it reinforces the idea that the responsibility of overcoming challenges is on the disabled person alone, whereas it is not. The
True.
responsibility is equally the society's to design systems and environments in such a way that the disabled person, I mean, the person does not feel disabled, does not experience the disability.
True.
If we think about, so what is disability, right? It is an experience. I know the general understanding is that disability का मतलब मेरा एक हाथ नहीं है, पैर नहीं है, मेरे दिमाग में कुछ खोट है. That is not a disability according to the current or the latest ideas about disability and what disabled people are saying. It is natural for some people to have a different body, but that atypical body is chronically not supported, then definitely their functionality will come down. Definitely they will not be able to contribute to the society on par with the others. And then they will definitely become disabled. Just because I do not have, just because I do not have one leg, I mean, if I do not have one leg, does not automatically make me disabled.
Exactly.
What will
Exactly.
make me disabled is if there are no ramps, uh, because of which I can't go down from my apartment. There are no lifts or ramps because of which I can't use my wheelchair and go down the apartment. I can't go to the next door grocery store. I can't go to a job and fend for my family. I can't be educated so that I can then get a higher paying job. uh, all this, if you see, is the society's design. So that's why when we say, oh, this person is so inspirational, even with even though they have autism, they have achieved so much in life. No, it is not, because it is not even though I have autism that I have achieved so many things in my life. It is that I have autism plus my environment has been supportive. Therefore, I have achieved so much in my life. My parents know how to communicate with me, know how to uh, give me visual supports. My husband knows how to uh, handle when I'm having an anxiety crisis, or how to prevent my anxiety, what he needs to do, small, small things. So, because they are supportive, I have achieved so many things in life.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, and the word disability, this term disability, is very subjective also.
Mm, mm,
Because and maybe that is the reason I never use the word disability.
mm,
I find myself to be disabled or unable in maybe in many areas, but
mm.
maybe the world doesn't look at me as I'm a disabled person. So it is very subjective, and that is why I prefer to call it's normal human diversity. No one
Mm.
is disabled as such. The society, if the society is calling a person disabled, maybe the society needs to look at themselves to make some changes. As you said rightly, I completely agree with you on this, Rakshita.
If you look at the history of disability advocacy,
Yeah,
the word disability has been used to demonize us, has been used to exclude us, kill us,
exactly.
even in many situations, in many instances. And the disability rights movement has been about reclaiming that word and being proud of it. It's like when somebody tells you तू पागल है, and we say हाँ मैं हूँ पागल, अब बोल क्या करेगा तू बोल. There's a certain power in reclaiming that word. So if majority of disabled people around the world prefer to use the word disabled for this particular reason, uh, even in India, we have moved away from Viklang to Divyang and stuff like that. And if you ask any disabled, not okay, not any disabled people, but disabled advocates, okay, who have been thinking about these things and who've who've had the opportunity to learn more about the history of disability movement and understand critical disability theory, uh, they will tell you ye differently abled, special needs, divyang nahi chahiye apan ko. I am disabled. That is the truth. I am not disabled because I have a bad body. I am disabled because of the society. And the society better acknowledge that. I am marginalized. That is the truth. And the society better acknowledge that. I am denied opportunities. The society better acknowledge that my functionality is reduced because you are not designing your systems and your infrastructure and your society in a way which supports me. So chronically, continuously, when my body is unsupported, I am going to be disabled. My functionality is going to come down. And this is the truth about anybody. You know, when there is, another other times when there are atypical bodies is in pregnancy, for example, our body goes through so much, but it's okay for a pregnant lady to sleep all day or to eat all day. Why is that behavior okay? Because we understand the needs of that different body. We will not expect an 85-year-old to go get 3 kg of 10 kg atta from the grocery store, carry it and come home. Why? Because we understand the needs of that body. And we, as a society, we support the needs of those bodies.
Sure.
But as a society, when we do not support the needs of uh, certain bodies, like bodies who cannot speak mouth words, bodies who do not hear through their ears, bodies who do not see through their eyes, bodies who do not follow social norms, bodies who do not walk using their legs or do not move using their legs. When our society continuously keeps giving up on these bodies, of course उनका functionality तो होना ही वाला है कम.
वो तो सही है। लेकिन एक
And
बात
what
बताइए।
neurodiversity, 1 minute, I'll just finish. And what neurodiversity really tells us, or the diversity model of disability really tells us, is that it is natural for these bodies to exist.
Exactly.
That if there can be some 500 types of ants in this world, or whatever, how many ever number, and we don't say red ant is better than the black ant. We don't say Bengal tiger is better than Siberian tiger. We accept it as the diversity. Wow,
Exactly.
itne sare types. And we just have to accept that there can be subtypes in the human system or the human body, and they naturally evolve. It's natural for these bodies to exist. And the disability rights movement is about, one, accepting that yes, these bodies will exist naturally. Two,
Yes.
that no human being ever can function without support. हम बच्चे क्यों पैदा करते हैं सपोर्ट के लिए, हम शादी क्यों करते हैं सपोर्ट के लिए. And so, but we understand the needs of the typical bodies and therefore we support them. So if we accept that these bodies are also typical, sorry, not the atypical bodies are also natural, and we start supporting them, supporting their needs, then they will not experience disability.
Very true. Very true. And yeah, since I'm a strong advocate of neurodiversity concept, and recently we developed a course on neurodiversity as well. So I think this is the thing we, as advocates of neurodiversity, need to tell the society. And if we work, maybe not in very near future, but slowly and gradually we will achieve this. I am very optimistic in this regard. And that is the reason I never use the word disability. I just can't. Anyway, it's a maybe topic that can take a long time, and you really don't have much time. You have another program at 7 o'clock. So I have a few more questions to you, as since you are uh, a consultant and an educator, have been an educator in both general education and special education. Rakshita, it is quite commonly seen that girls and women with autism are often undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, or receive a diagnosis at a later age. I know someone who was diagnosed at the age of 52, a lady, and by the time she was a PhD, she was working, she had 3 kids, and they were all grown ups, but she was never diagnosed before that. And this can result in adverse outcomes in their well-beings and mental health, education, employment, and overall independence of a person. What is your take on this?
Um, First of all, we need to understand why women are getting misdiagnosed, uh, or missing their diagnosis. There are a couple of reasons for this. First reason is that in the literature presently, autism literature, we do not recognize or I mean dominantly recognize. Okay, it's just beginning. We are just beginning to recognize this.
Yeah.
So, uh, in our diagnostic criteria, we do not recognize that autism in girls looks very different. It does not look like how it looks in boys. And when I say girls and boys, I really mean people assigned female at birth and people assigned male at birth. So, people assigned female at birth are the ones who are missing diagnosis because how autism presents in them looks very differently. So, for example, uh, there can be a AFAB who stims by um, having shiny things like a shiny bag. That's a visual stim. That's their visual stim. They can have shiny bags, shiny hats, shiny dresses, shiny shoes, everything shiny. I knew one girl who had even shiny pencils. Uh, that's common for girls. That's common for AFABs. The difference is in the intensity with which the autistic AFAB will be related to that shiny object. So, for example, like what is the purpose for her? What does the shiny object represent for the person, for the AFAB? I'm not making much sense, no?
No, no, you
I'm
are. You
confusing,
are.
you know?
No, 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 you are. You are making sense.
Okay, okay. So, like, they may be very interested in horses and they might know everything there is to know about horses. But girls knowing horses is common. How is that autism? Our
True.
literature, our diagnostic criteria doesn't talk about these things.
Yeah. Yes. And one more thing I would like to add here, see, most of the little girls at a certain age, they like shiny things.
Huh.
Most of them, not only autistic, like all the other children. I think I found the little girls are kind of obsessed with shiny things, shiny and pink and all these things, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So how do we differentiate?
Yeah.
The so this is a very very recent thing, maybe last 10 years. Just in the last 10 years that we are realizing that autism in girls looks very different. So what we really have to figure out at that point is what does that pink color mean to that girl? How what attachment does the little girl have to that pink color? What is the purpose for her to have everything in pink around her?
Yeah.
It's a cognitive thing. And that is why we've been saying that autistic advocates have been saying that diagnostic criteria only based on externally observed behaviors are going to be a problem.
True. Very
So the first problem is this, that we don't understand how AFABs present. Second problem is that our diagnostic criteria are only based on externally observed behaviors. Uh, so we are not looking at cognition. And if we are not looking at cognition, then we are missing a whole part of autism. So
true.
we will not be able to detect autism in some people who are masking. Third, AFABs somehow we know now are more able to more mask better.
Yeah.
Like for example, with me, I remember my mother used to push me out of the house to play with other children when I was young. And my memories of that play, so you would have seen me around those children, okay? And you would have thought I'm playing, everybody thought I'm playing. But how I remember it is, I'm in the periphery. I'm just following what other children are doing. I'm not understanding head and tail of what's happening in the game. I'm not talking anything. I'm not interacting with them the way the others are interacting. Let's run to this tree. I'm also running to that tree. So I'm just imitating. And this is a very, very common feature that you will find, that AFABs are much better somehow uh, at coping with these difficulties by imitating and by masking their autism. So that is another reason why we don't pick up AFABs earlier and diagnosis gets delayed.
Yeah.
Another issue is that even our diagnostic tools, our ADOS and ADIR, which are the gold standards in autism diagnosis, are not designed to pick up AFABs. They routinely miss AFABs. So even our diagnostic tools are not designed well enough. So no wonder that because of these systematic issues, not systematic, systemic issues, AFABs get diagnosed very late.
True. And there is another theory called female protective effect theory, FP, right? It is believed
Mm-hmm.
that the majority of the autistic population in the world is male. And
Mm.
it is already believed, but the FP theory said that females requires greater environmental and genetic risk than males to express the same degree of autistic characteristics, and hence
Yes.
females are protected from autistic characteristics relative to males with a comparable level of risk factors.
What
Uh,
are the keywords in this statement? Keywords are autistic characteristics, which are externally observed behaviors,
Exactly.
which shouldn't be there at all. I mean, you
Yeah.
should not be basing your autism diagnosis completely on externally observed behaviors at all. Second, uh, women require greater risk. Uh, okay, no, symptoms
Symptoms.
of
Yeah.
autism. Again, we are looking for externally observed behaviors. Greater risk, भाई काफी है अपना रिस्क, बहुत झेल लिए हम लोग, ये क्या है ये और ज्यादा रिस्क, मतलब ठोसो उन पे रिस्क
नहीं,
एंड मोर.
क्या होता है ना, बाहर से दिखता नहीं है अगर, तो शायद डायग्नोसिस के लिए पेरेंट्स भी नहीं सोच पाते हैं कि डायग्नोसिस के लिए ले जाना चाहिए. मे बी दैट इज द थिंग दे आर ट्राइंग टू पोर्ट्रे हियर.
Yes, of course, that's the thing they're trying to portray, but it's absurd.
Yeah, sure, I completely agree with you.
It's absurd because of the way you're thinking about autism, the way the what you think autism is, and you, matlab not you, I mean
I
people,
understand. I understand. Yeah.
uh, what people think autism is. If you think autism is about no eye contact and hand flapping and eating the same food every day, I don't do all three of them. तो मतलब मुझे autism नहीं है. That is where we get stuck in understanding the infinite ways that autism presents itself.
True. Very
Because
true.
we are looking at it from such a narrow view. And again, here the assumption is that there are one set of symptoms external which are externally observed, and those set of symptoms are same in any gender of autistic people. तो
And we
उनका
call
जब
it,
assumption ही गलत है.
और हम इसको स्पेक्ट्रम बोल रहे हैं.
हाँ,
At one hand we are telling that it's a spectrum, और हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि सबको एक जैसा ही हो external
करेक्ट,
behavior, let's say.
करेक्ट.
So what is the spectrum to you? How would you like to define it?
Um, so a lot of autistic people have tried explaining to people what the spectrum really means. What we imagine in our head when we say spectrum, when we hear the word spectrum, is there is one band, light red to dark red, and light red matlab माइल्ड ऑटिज्म, डार्क रेड मतलब सिवियर ऑटिज्म, और मैं तो कहीं पे बीच में हूं. That is not how a spectrum looks. That is not what spectrum in autism means. That's not how autism works. The core feature of autism, even diagnostically, and this is, if there are any doctors here, if there are any clinicians here, please note this. The core feature of autism is an uneven profile of skills. When we do uh, um, psychoeducational tests in the typical population, non-autistic population, not even typical, non-autistic population, who do not have intellectual disability, the skills का जो score होता है might vary in the range of 7 to 10. ज्यादा वेरिएशन नहीं है स्ट्रेंथ और वीकनेस के बीच में.
Yeah.
But in autistic individual, strength और weakness के बीच में there can be a 100-point difference. कि मतलब strength इतना अच्छा है कि बाकी सबसे अच्छा है, weakness इतना बुरा है कि like it is considered by the medical fraternity as an impairment.
Exactly. Like
Both exist.
yeah.
That is the core feature of autism. That is what a spectrum means. Ki in various skills, if you map out some skills, I'm superbly good. Some skills, I'm just average like everybody else. In some skills, I'm uh, too bad. That is what a spectrum means. So English में अगर हमें बोलना है, तो the spectrum is inside each autistic person.
True. Yeah, very true. There's a question asked by Kavita ji, Mrs. Kavita Sharma. Ujjwal's mother?
Okay. Okay. I should answer the question now. Oh, sorry.
Yes, please.
Okay, don't you think, Rakshita, that it is time to advocate about the tools being used for the diagnosis of autism? Very good question. In that, uh, there is a lot of clinical work involved in that, a lot of research involved in that in the Indian context. Um, like I know I did the ADOS, so in the ADOS, there's this one picture that they showed me, which I don't even know which city that is. It's not in India. And they showed me and they asked me, what do you think about this? And I kept describing the little things. And she was like, didn't you recognize this city? I said, no. इंडिया में है क्या ये मैं बैंगलोर दिल्ली उडुपी ये 3-4 सिटी आई नो आई डोंट नो एनी अदर सिटी so yeah in the Indian context it's very required to जो अभी ADOS ADIR है even that has to be adapted to the Indian context, number one. Number two, if we want to make our own diagnostic tool, I'm sorry if there's anybody from the government in this, please don't mind me saying this. ESA is really bad, okay? Because
We
uh,
experience,
huh?
we experience the same.
रिसर्च करो भाई पैसे डालो ना कोई रिसर्च पे but on a more serious note, there is a global advocacy group that we've made, and we are uh, collaborating with uh, the people who wrote the DSM, the committees who are writing the next DSM, and we are hoping that we can advocate for the diagnostic criteria to be more uh, closer to lived experiences.
Thank you very much, Rakshita. And before we go, one more question I have. I know that we are running out of time. As you know that we have a school here, and I personally deal with children and young people, both male and female on the spectrum every day. And in my professional experience, I always found it a bit challenging to handle adolescent issues in autistic girls. I found them experiencing a lot of sensory issues, more difficulties in communication, and also a number of social difficulties. Right? Girls exhibit like the same symptom of ASD as boys, more or less, but they are expected to be influenced and moderated by socio-cognitive processes. Now, my question to you is, how do you help autistic girls handle adolescent issues as an educator and a consultant of inclusive education?
You know, frankly, I've only started thinking about this since April, March and April beginning.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, and I'm realizing what a big issue this is. Um, and I have to tell you, globally, there is very little research on how uh, menstruation affects autistic
Okay.
AFABs.
Yeah.
And people are not ready to put their money into that kind of a research because they believe that autism doesn't affect girls. Uh, Also, um, what been what I've been listening to, I never thought about it so much before March. Okay, I mean I've been hearing these stories and
Mhm.
talking to people about it, but I've never thought so much in detail about this and really gone out and tried to do anything about it. But what I've been uh, hearing is a lot of human rights um, क्या बोलते हैं violations when it
Yeah.
comes to uh, menstruation and autistic AFABs. Like gynecologists, hormonal changes happen. They're affecting our autistic girls and AFABs very differently. Behavior issues are showing up. Uh, they are dropping out of schools, of course. But when these parents take these children to gynecologists, the gynecologists are only recommending heavy psychiatric medication and saying पहले behavior ठीक करो because the behavior is just a direct outcome of the autism. Anyway, बच्चा क्यों पैदा करना है इसको इसका हार्मोनल ये अगर मतलब it's okay if her periods stop, it's
Yeah.
okay uh, if the hormonal balance is off because anyway बच्चा क्यों पैदा करना है इसको.
And many parents opt for this as well.
Yeah,
Many parents opt.
yeah, and the girls are in even more distress.
Yeah. True.
I was speaking to one non-autistic teenager about her non-autistic, nahi, non-speaking autistic teenager. We were conversing about uh, her menstruation through PECs,
Mhm.
not PECs really, picture communication. And she expressed that she has no hope that anybody can help her. Why are you even trying? There's no solution to my problems. इतना रोई मैं उस कॉन्वर्जेशन के बाद कि बेचारी बोल नहीं सकती है अपने प्रॉब्लम्स. Doctors are not on her side. Other therapists and professionals are not understanding her. What hope does she really have? I mean, I can say, नहीं नहीं बेटा ऐसे नहीं सोचते हैं. Don't think negative. I mean, that's really nice of me to say all that. But the truth is, there's no hope. किसके पास लेके जाएं? And uh, how does the mother fight for her child's reproductive rights?
Yeah, there is an organization called Scottish Women Autism Network, that is one in Scotland, and they have come a long way. Actually, they have the now reservation for autistic women in all the jobs over there in Scotland. And the founder of SOAN, Dr. Catriona Stewart, she also came a couple of times here in this program, Let's Talk Inclusion. The other day, I was so upset, you can say, because of some.
Can I just come back in 1 second? I'll switch on the
Yeah,
light and I'll come back.
yeah, sure. Please.
I didn't realize
The
when I
light.
was talking. Yeah.
Okay. So the other day I was so disturbed. I gave a call to her, and she was kind enough to speak to me about all this. They run quite a lot of program on this menstruation and adolescent issues in autistic girls, and I asked for her help, and she's very kind, and she is on the autistic spectrum herself. Dr. Stewart has very kindly agreed, and maybe she will try to come up with some solutions. But honestly speaking, they don't know the kind of scenario we have in India, right? The awareness is so low, acceptance is much lower. So it is difficult. As you said, that I also had tears in my eyes when you were talking about that girl. Uh, we try to help her, but we also need some help. Don't you think so? Uh, anyways, thank you very much for your time. It's already 7:15, and you have one more engagement at 7 o'clock. We will continue with this conversation maybe in future. But before we conclude, I'd like to say something to our viewers.
Yeah. I am organizing a conference uh, on the 30th of April and the 1st of May, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is in association with True Hap Positive Psychology Center in Hyderabad. This is an online conference where only autistic people are presenting, and they are talking about their experiences with autism and how life on the spectrum uh, feels like, and the various issues that they face, what kind of help they require, um, what they don't want, what, and all of them have messages to give to parents and professionals. I would request all of you to come and attend that conference. You can find all the details if you go to the TrueHap website. On there's a button called Events, and there you will find this conference. It is the only one of its kind that's happening in India. We did it last year. Um, we have AAC users presenting. We have uh, silent presentations by uh, people who have selective mutism. Um, so you will see how what different ways, different when we open the when we ask autistic people to communicate, and we give them the freedom to communicate in whatever manner they want, and then we support them, what all they come up with, what unique communication ways they can come up with. um, so that's all.
I would love to attend this. Please share the details with me as well. Okay.
Okay.
And wish you all the best, Rakshita, for this. There
Okay.
are a few more comments, but since I say that I will not take your time anymore, Mr. Breach Bharadwaj and Kapita Sharma, again, if there
where
is
do
any
i
question,
see where do I see all the
yeah,
comments?
yeah, here is one. And
Okay,
later
okay.
on, you can see the comments, read the comments on I for Inclusion's Facebook page. And maybe if you'd like to reply to them, you can, because now you really don't have any time. It's already.
Yeah. How do I? Okay, I'll get in touch with you to see how.
Yeah, I for
we can
Inclusion's
just.
Facebook page, below this video, you will get all these comments, and it would be
Oh,
great if you
okay.
could reply to this, whatever queries they have. Okay. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thanks a lot, Rakshita. Thank you once again.
Okay.
And to
Bye.
our viewers, bye. And to our viewers, we will come back again very soon with the 40th episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. Please keep an eye on our Facebook page for further announcements in this regard. Until then, take care and goodbye. Bye, Rakshita.
Bye.
Bye.